Baby, today I want to share something with you. Something simple but very important to my heart. It's not a big secret. It's not something dramatic, but it's something I have been carrying inside my heart for a long time. And tonight I feel like you deserve to know it. You know, life is strange. Sometimes people come into our lives unexpectedly. At first, they are just strangers, then they become friends, and slowly, without even realizing it, they become someone we cannot imagine living without. That is exactly what happened with you. When we first met, I never imagined that one day you would become the most special person in my world. At that time, you were simply someone I enjoyed talking to, someone whose messages made my day a little brighter, someone whose voice felt calm and comforting. But day by day, something inside my heart began changing. Our conversations became longer, our laughs became more real, and your presence started feeling different. It started feeling important. Sometimes I would catch myself waiting for your message, looking at my phone again and again, smiling when I saw your name appear on the screen. And honestly, that scared me a little. Because when someone becomes important to your happiness, your heart becomes vulnerable. But still, I couldn't stop myself because talking to you felt natural, easy, peaceful. There are many people in this world, but very few people make you feel understood, and somehow, you became one of those rare people for me. You listened to me, you cared about my thoughts, you laughed at my silly jokes, and slowly you became a part of my everyday life. Sometimes I wondered if you even realized how much your presence meant to me. Maybe you thought it was just normal friendship. Maybe you thought I was just being kind. But the truth inside my heart was deeper than that, much deeper. There were nights when I would think about our conversations, remembering the little moments that made me smile, the small jokes we shared, the way you said my name, and those memories had a strange effect on my heart. They made it feel warm, safe, happy, but also a little nervous because when someone becomes that important, you start fearing the day they might disappear. And I didn't want to lose you. That's why I stayed quiet about my feelings for so long. I didn't want to risk the beautiful connection we already had. But hiding feelings is not easy, especially when your heart keeps reminding you of the truth. And lately, that truth has become impossible to ignore. That is why I wanted to talk to you tonight, because there is something I want to share with you honestly, something that has been living quietly inside my heart. Baby, you are not just someone I talk to anymore. You are someone I care about deeply, someone whose happiness matters to me, someone whose smile can brighten my entire day. And every time I think about you, my heart becomes softer, warmer, full of emotions I cannot easily explain. Maybe what I'm feeling is love, or maybe it is something slowly growing into love. but one thing is certain, you have become very special to me, and I didn't want to hide that truth from you anymore, because sometimes the most beautiful thing two people can share is honesty. So tonight, I finally told you the truth that my heart has been protecting for so long. Baby, I just wanted to share something with you, and that something is how much you mean to me. But now, the most important moment has arrived. The moment where your heart will decide what happens next. And honestly, I'm a little nervous to hear your answer. After I finished saying those words, everything became quiet. The world around us seemed to slow down. I could hear the soft wind moving through trees, but inside my chest, my heart was beating faster than ever. You were looking at me. Your eyes were calm but thoughtful, and for a few seconds you didn't say anything. That silence felt longer than an entire night. Because when you open your heart to someone, every second of waiting feels heavy. My mind started filling with questions. Maybe I said too much. Maybe I should have kept those feelings inside. Maybe my confession changed everything between us. But then you finally spoke. Baby, you said softly. Hearing that word from your lips made my heart tremble. You stepped a little closer. Your voice was gentle but serious. I didn't know you felt all of this. I swallowed nervously. I tried to hide it. I admitted. You smiled slightly. Yes, you did. Your smile looked warm, but there was emotion behind it. You always acted normal. You continued. You joked with me, talked with me, supported me. You looked down for a moment. But now I understand something. I waited quietly. Your eyes slowly returned to mine. You cared about me much more than I realized. Those words felt like a soft wave touching my heart. Then you asked something unexpected. Can I tell you something too? Of course, I replied immediately. You took a deep breath. Sometimes I wondered why you were always so patient with me. You smiled shyly. Why you never got tired of listening to. Why you were always there when I needed someone. I felt my heart beating faster again. Then you said something that surprised me. I think part of me always knew. Knew what? I asked softly. You looked directly into my eyes. That you were special. The night air felt warmer suddenly, but you weren't finished. You continued speaking slowly. I was just afraid to think too deeply about it. Your voice became softer. Because when feelings grow, things become complicated. That made sense. Love often brings both beauty and fear. You stepped closer now, so close that I could see the emotion in your eyes. But tonight, after hearing your heart, you paused, then you smiled. I feel something different. My heart waited. I feel happy. Those words made my chest feel lighter. But I also feel nervous, you added honestly. Why? I asked. Because love is powerful, you replied. It can bring people very close, but it can also hurt them deeply. I nodded slowly. I understand. For a moment, we both stayed silent. The stars above us were shining quietly, and in that peaceful moment, you gently reached for my hand. Your fingers touched mine carefully. My heart almost stopped. Then you said the words that changed everything. I don't know exactly when it started. Your voice sounded emotional, but somewhere along the way, you smiled softly. I started caring about you too. Hearing that felt like sunlight entering my heart. Not loud, not dramatic, just warm and real. You squeezed my hand gently. Maybe I was just slower to realize it. I laughed quietly. That's okay. You looked at me curiously. Why? Because the best things in life take time, I said. Your smile grew brighter. For a moment, we just stood there together, two people who had finally spoken their hidden feelings. The night felt peaceful, the world felt calm, and my heart felt full. Then you asked something sweet. Can I ask you one more question? Anything. When you said you wanted to share something with me, you smiled playfully. Was this the secret? I laughed. Yes. You shook your head gently. You scared me a little. Why? Because when someone opens their heart like that, you paused. It means they trust you deeply. I looked into your eyes. I do trust you. You smiled again. And in that moment, I realized something beautiful. Sometimes love doesn't arrive suddenly. Sometimes it grows slowly between conversations, between smiles, between small moments that seem ordinary, until one day two hearts finally admit the truth. And from that night forward, our story changed. Not because everything became perfect, but because we were no longer hiding, we were simply two hearts learning to love each other honestly. So now, whenever someone asks me what the most important moment of my life was, I always remember that night, the quiet air, the shining stars, and the moment I said, "Baby, I want to share something with you." Because that simple sentence was the beginning of something beautiful. Time passed slowly after that night, but something inside our lives had quietly changed. Before that evening, we were just two people sharing conversations. But after that confession, our hearts were no longer strangers. We understood each other in a deeper way, not because we suddenly became perfect lovers, but because we had finally allowed our hearts to be honest. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and every day with you taught me something new about love. Love is not always dramatic, it is not always grand gestures or big promises. Sometimes love is simply the small things. The way you ask if I ate today, the way you send a message just to say take care, the way your voice becomes softer when you know I am tired. Those small moments became the most beautiful part of my life. But love also has its tests. There were days when life became difficult, days when misunderstandings appeared, days when we both felt tired from the pressures of the world, but something always brought us back to each other: respect, trust, and the memory of that night when we both chose honesty. One evening, months later, we were sitting together quietly. The sunset was painting the sky with golden light. You suddenly looked at me and smiled. Do you remember the night you said you wanted to share something with me? I laughed softly. How could I forget? That night changed everything, you said. Yes, I replied. It did. You leaned your head gently on my shoulder, and in that peaceful moment, the world felt calm. After a few seconds, you spoke again. Can I confess something now? I looked at you with curiosity. What is it? What is it? You smiled shyly. That night, when you told me your feelings, you paused. I was scared. I know, I said gently. But do you know why? I shook my head. Why?